Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today I'm reviewing LEGO Avatar set number 75573, Floating Mountains, Site 26, and RDA Samson. These Avatar sets really have quite the mouthful for names, I have to say. It's got 887 pieces, a record-breaking 5 minifigures, 3 of which are humans, and it retails for $100 in the US. And I do think that this is the worst Avatar set. I do kind of feel, at least initially, that it's the worst value for money, but it's still got some really awesome things to take a look at. This is the only set to include Jake Sully's human form with a brand new wheelchair mold that is smaller and more compact with the one that's been in LEGO City sets since 2016. This is a great piece. I really like it. I hope that LEGO uses it in more themes in the future. It's got like less plastic like all around the figure and new wheel pieces as well. It just rolls in the exact same way as like the other wheelchair piece did. I almost said set, but nope, it's just a piece. And he does have like an image of one of the RDA like Samson helicopter thingies on his chest. I have to be honest, right until this moment, I thought that that was just sweat. And for the first time I noticed that it's actually a helicopter. So that's kind of funny. I don't really like his expression. It seems very, very generic to me. Like it doesn't really scream Jake Sully to me. But the reverse expression with that breathing mask, I think is much, much better. And you also get Jake's avatar Na'vi in this set. He looks pretty decent. I think it's an exclusive version of him. I do like the face print. But yeah, I mean, we've already looked at this guy like a bunch of times by now. So yeah, new hairpiece, plugs into the Na'vi animals, tail, cool, nice printing. Wish these guys had molded noses. You guys get the gist by now. We also get Norm Spellman's avatar, which I really like because it gives us the long legs in dark tan, which would be perfect for Groot. So I am going to try that out as soon as I get home to one of my Groot figures. I don't like this figure though because the tail doesn't have any printing, which creates a very awkward look. It makes it look like he's wearing a crop top. And LEGO has printed the front of these tail pieces before. We know they can do it, so they should have done it here. Facial expression, I think, is a little bit awkward. I think that, again, I just don't really love the way that these faces work because I think that they should have actual noses, not printed on noses. But he's got the same hairpiece as Jake, and other than that, he looks pretty decent, although we sadly don't get a human version of him to, like, kind of complement this figure. My favorite minifigure in this set is Dr. Grace Augustine, Sigourney Weaver herself. Great torso print, great face print, great hairpiece, great leg printing, which is dual molded and printed around the sides. Thank you, LEGO, for making a truly excellent figure. She does have an alternate head, which is a little bit worried with one of those breathing masks. Perfect for recreating the scene where she is in the Tree of Souls. The only problem with this set is that it doesn't include her Na'vi form. I don't understand how we didn't get a Na'vi minifigure of her in any of these sets. And our last minifigure is Trudy Chasson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, or is it Chachon? I'm not 100% sure. But she is a great figure. She was the pilot of the helicopter. Unfortunately, she died in the first movie. I kind of wish she hadn't since everyone else gets to come back for the sequels. Great torso print, great face print, good back torso printing, and I absolutely love her alternate face where she's got her war paint and her little headset on. Or wait, is that war paint or are those goggles? I know, it was war paint in the movie. So yeah, war paint and headset on for the fight against the RDA. And you get a Direhorse in the set. These are the little horses that the Na'vi ride, as you could tell by their name. Great new piece. Really love all of the molded detail on it. I wanted to put it up with the minifigures just to do something different because I did look at this in my Torok Makto and Tree of Souls review as well. But I guess I might as well take it off so that you guys can see some of the detail over there. You can plug a Na'vi minifigure's hair into it right here and make it ride this thing. But I'm not going to show you guys that up close because I already did it in the other review. 6 legs, great detailing, great new piece. Just wish the head could move because it's kind of weird that this thing is so static. And I lied. That's what it looks like with the Na'vi riding it. I do think that you guys should see this. The one thing I hate about this is just that this antenna is just like flopping around, like sticking straight out from the side of the horse, which I think is super awkward and not really a good look. You've got 3 builds in this set. You have Site 26 itself, like kind of that mobile command station thing that they go to get away from everyone else. Then you've got the Samson helicopter drone thing. And then you do have this Pandoran, like kind of flora side build with a bit of the floating mountains that you can use as a display stand for the helicopter. So I think we'll start with Site 26 since these two things are a little bit more connected than that. Here's Site 26 itself. It is pretty small compared to the movie, but like it's interesting because it's compact, but it's very dense. You know, like there's still a lot of building that goes into this. You can see that next to a minifigure, it looks much more minifigure like scale accurate, like accurate to real life than most Lego sets. You know, most Lego sets are naturally oversized because minifigures aren't proportionate to real humans. But this thing looks pretty decent. It's just kind of shortened. Like it should be longer. There should be more windows. I feel like it should be maybe not twice as long, but at least like kind of 2/3 as long. But anyway, so you've got like a blue like train door here. You've got a little ramp for Jake to get up. I don't think this ramp is very successful because there's like a huge gap here. So I feel like that could have been done a little bit better. We've got like the legs on the sides here, but they can't like move or anything. I think in the movie, like they were kind of like just loosely attached and then they would kind of like naturally sit down on the ground when this thing was dropped. So you can't really do that with this. There is a little, like there's a little Technic thing here. I don't really know what that's for because like in the movie, this thing was carried by the helicopter, and I don't think that you can do that with this set. You've got like these tanks on the sides, which I'm assuming are oxygen and stuff like that. And then the back is surprisingly detailed. You've got an antenna on the roof. You've got these like caution things. You've got grills. You've got a little wheel. Like it looks like there's, you know, like systems, like life support systems going on in here. And the way you get access isn't just by removing the roof. It's actually by removing this entire chunk. And this is surprisingly heavy. Like I said, there's deceptively a lot of building that goes into this, and you don't really realize how much until you've actually built the set. So inside, here's that little door. You don't really have like a whole airlock, I think, like they did in the movie. But this is where Jake like goes into his avatar body. So you've got a very nice sticker of him in his little tank. And these tanks were much rounder in the movie, which they've kind of tried to do back here. But I mean, like the whole thing was round in the movie. And I wish that they had found a way to do that. But again, because they're trying to keep this so tight and small, they could really only use this door frame piece. That is a nice print, by the way. So you can lift this up, and let me grab Jake out of his wheelchair, and it is pretty cushy inside. You can see there's like some blue tiles, and you can just put him right down in there. So that's pretty decent. I actually think this is much roomier than it was in the movie, so that's pretty nice for him. And then on the other side, you've just got like a computer screen showing like the Pandoran kind of like neural network. Like I believe that's home tree there. And then there's just some text and stuff on there. And this chair does swivel, which is very nice. And there is even like a little printed keypad down there, as you can see. But yeah, this thing is super, super tiny. But there's a lot of good building that goes into it. Like I really like the designs of the windows. These are like the newer 3-wide windows that you still don't see used a whole lot. And like I said, it is very like it looks really good with minifigures because it's not too oversized. I do wish it was a little bit bigger because like it would be nice if you could fit like more stuff in here, just because like this is such a prominent location in the movie, and like it has been shrunken down for this set. I do feel like it could have been a little bit bigger, even if the set was still the same price, because like I said, the set does feel a little bit expensive. Here's a quick look at the bottom of this build in case anyone was wondering what that looked like. And I did want to mention that this piece, like it does not attach with any studs. It just like loosely like sits in there, which I both like and dislike. It's nice because it's super easy to remove, but then it kind of sucks because if you want to turn it over to show you guys the bottom, it starts to fall off. So yeah, but that pretty much does it for this build, which was a pretty quick look at it considering that it is like the main thing in this $100 set. Here's the Samson helicopter itself. This was a pretty cool vehicle in the movie, and I think it looks really good as a Lego vehicle. It's using a Speed Champion's windshield, I believe. I don't think I've actually seen this mold before. It's slightly different from the one I was thinking of, and it is printed very beautifully. Actually, some of the print is even covered up. Like it's printed all the way back here, but then it's covered up by this piece. So that's very interesting. I don't know why Lego wasted their money printing something that's not going to be seen. But yeah, it's got the war paint that it had in the movie, made using a bunch of stickers, which aren't too difficult to line up, and from a distance it looks pretty good. But yeah, that cockpit piece is just amazing. You've also got stickers on the side, and this thing, once again, well scaled next to minifigures, definitely oversized, of course, as all Lego things are. but you can fit so many figures in something this size. And we will talk about that more in just a second. But yeah, you can see the middle is entirely open. We've got these skids made using Technic pieces that actually look really good. Well, not stud, tile shooters on the side. They just shoot out these little yellow 1x1s. Honestly, the thing that looks the worst here is just having that stud exposed, because everything is very well covered up. This is where it attaches to like the display base, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. But yeah, like the shaping is very good here. The shaping is excellent back here, like with these pieces that angle inwards. Even the tail was built in a very interesting way, and I like that these pieces like remain at an angle, like the stabilizers, I guess. I like that they remain at an angle, because I thought that you were just gonna have to like approximate it, but no, like they will lock kind of like right into place, or they're like guided into place, I guess. And then of course we've got the two giant rotors, which are made using, I think like these round pieces are slightly newer parts. But yeah, they can move very easily, and you can spin these up. There's no like remote mechanism or anything to do that. I guess that would be kind of cool, like if there was a mechanism here that would spin the rotors. But that's an example of how I think LEGO is prioritizing display over play, because they've done mechanisms like that on helicopters before. But I'm glad that they didn't do that here, because if they did that, it would probably go through the middle, and then we wouldn't have all this space to pose minifigures. Because there is a ton of space back there. There's an opening into the cockpit which can seat 2 people, and you could easily fit at least 3 figures in here, if not more. Like 3 figures would very comfortably fit in here, but I bet that you could squeeze in 4 or maybe even 5 if you really tried. And as for that cockpit, once you open this up, you've got 1 seat for Trudy to pilot it, and then you've got another seat back there. So that is excellent like space usage. I'm just very impressed by it. And everything is still shaped up very nicely. You know, like you've got gentle angles. You've got like a lot of yellow decoration in there. Even like the front of this thing is built up very nicely. So I really appreciate how much effort and like time went into building this helicopter. And that's what Trudy looks like sitting in there. I don't know if she needs to lean that far back, but that's just kind of where the seat rest takes her. I guess she could be sitting up a tiny bit more, but not by much. But yeah, like I think that this thing is surprisingly great, and it's kind of bigger than I expected. Like I thought that this would feel like a $20 LEGO helicopter to me, but instead it feels more like a $30 to $35 helicopter. And finally, we've got our floating mountain side build. I love the way the flowers are built on this thing. They're very cleverly assembled with like those DC superheroes posing pieces in dark blue on a bunch of dishes so that you can get these guys at crazy angles, which is just really clever. You've got connection points to connect it to the other pieces in the other sets. You've got 2 of these giant clear support pieces from the new Super Mario sets in the middle. I love these new pieces. Like they fit together so seamlessly, and I think that they look a lot better than the old Technic pieces. Like the most conspicuous thing down here is just like that tan colored pin at the bottom, but at least it's not blue or something like that. And you've got a wonderful vine that like snakes around this thing. I wish it was like a little bit tighter. Like there's no way to like kind of like get it tighter around this thing. It always just wants to keep coming out. But yeah, that's a pretty minor complaint. And then you've just got some vines and stuff that you can adjust. And then you do have like a nice little chunk of floating mountain up top, and that is where you can position the helicopter. But before we look at that, let's talk about the glow-in-the-dark pieces. These flower crown pieces glow in the dark, so what I am going to do is, actually I need to do something with my lights and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, so I've got my UV flashlight. Let's go ahead and charge those flower pieces up. There are just 3 glow-in-the-dark parts in this set. I think that might be the least of any set, but let me turn off the studio lights. And look at that glow. There is 1 light on in the background still. But yeah, these glow-in-the-dark pieces are some of the best features of the Avatar sets. I just wish that there were more of them. As for helicopter displaying, you've got a little Technic pin right up there. And you have Technic pinholes right here. So you can attach the helicopter. This is how they show you doing it on the box. And whoops, that is coming off. That looks pretty good to me. It looks a little bit like silly because this is so small, but it does support the helicopter, which is honestly like kind of surprising to me. Like I was shocked by that when I first saw pictures of this. But the great thing is because you've got Technic pinholes on both sides of the helicopter, you can technically put it on either side if you wanted to. I would not really advise doing this, to be perfectly honest. I prefer to display my Lego sets like from this direction. Like if you're looking at it head on, I like seeing my Lego sets from there. What is that, the right side? Like this is how I prefer to look at my Lego sets. But yeah, you can't really see it, but like this thing is becoming a little bit top heavy. So even though you can technically do this, I would advise like weighing this down, or actually just, I think if you just connect this to some of the other side builds from across the wave, it would stabilize this a little bit more if that's how you want to display it. But yeah, there is everything you get in the set, kind of all on the same plane of existence now, not with the helicopter looming over everything. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a better size comparison, but let's go ahead and wrap up this review with the box instructions and my final thoughts. We've got some decent extra pieces here, including a couple of Navi tails, one of those new wheelchair wheels, and then these pieces for the glow-in-the-dark flowers. And the box is Lego's typical $80 size with some like interesting angles here, so that's kind of nice. At the top, we've got the minifigures and some Pandoran wildlife, and then at the back, we've just got some other angles of the set. 3 instruction manuals to encourage building together. At the back of the first one, we've got the ads for the other Avatar sets, which look very nice all together, and I will be doing a collection video on them. And throughout all of these sets, like they've scattered like pictures of Pandora. And actually, I've never really talked about this, but there's very nice patterns in the corner. I don't know if I can like find any off the top of my head, but like, yeah, here, this is what I was looking for. A picture of the helicopter from the movie. So you can see it's actually pretty accurate. Like I feel like Lego did a pretty good job with this build in particular. And like, it's really impressive that they kind of got like that design done with just stickers and pieces. This is not a $100 set, and for me, that's like the biggest sticking point. I think that the price drags it down more than other Avatar sets, and it just feels a little bit less interesting to me, maybe because it's primarily focused on like the military stuff, which I'm not as into, because like even something like Site 26, I feel like I'd like it more if it was a little bit bigger and included like, you know, their sleeping bunks and stuff like that. So, and I feel like Lego could have done that, because what is here is a good, and I even hesitate to say good, but I think it would be a good $80 set. This has less than 900 pieces and it's $100. And like, yes, there's new molds and there's recolors and everything, but like, this does not feel like it's worth $100 at all. And like I said, like, yes, these builds are dense. They're packed full of details. They're packed full of parts. So I do think that there's more value in them than just their finished size. But when the finished size is so small, like it really doesn't help you feel like you got your money's worth. I think that this would be okay at $90, but $100 is just too much money. Because if everything was sold individually, like this Pandoran wildlife section, I would say would probably be worth like $15 to $20. The helicopter would be like $30 to $40 if it was overpriced. And this would be, let's also say like $30 to $40 if it was overpriced. So yeah, so if you put all that together, like I think it's a $30 helicopter, let's say $40 for that, and then $10 for that. That's $80, and that's kind of what the set should be. But no, Lego's gone full overpriced with the $100, and I just don't really think that this isn't that great, except for the minifigures, in my opinion. But even that, like, I think it definitely should have come with Dr. Augustine's Na'vi form, and even something like that would have improved this set for me. But I do like the other Avatar sets a lot. I still think that this one would be worth picking up if you got it on sale just for those minifigures. But that's it for today, so don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And check out my website, goldenninja3000.com. I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.